Hey guys, Zelda here, and welcome back to 999. Last episode, we finished our little Pushmaster 5000 minigame, and we went back to the central staircase, but it turns out Clover was gone, and she was murdered, stabbed in the back by someone. And we found that the ninth man's bracelet was missing. It wasn't where it was before, when we went into the room first. And and we found a note in Clover's hand which said truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Something asleep in the sinister hand. I still don't remember it really well. And we found out that had to do with our bracelet, and we figured out a code to open a safe. And that safe had a paper with facts on it, which we read, and now we are here because Junpei, us in this case, we are confronting the killer, the true killer. And if you've been paying attention to the little hints I've been feeding you, you know already who did it. So, Junpei said last, by the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
Oh.
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please. Who am I?
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa.
Well, what?
Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. Come on, Santa, you know. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now.
That's a very weird thing to say. Normal people will say, you're not Santa, you don't look like him.
1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital root would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Gotcha. Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei.
You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist.
Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face.
You don't look like him.
Ace, you have prosopagnosia, am I right?
Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth. So did Ace.
Prosopagnosia?
The others looked confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is...
He heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them and then turned back to Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the old beds. Oh my god, he's got this on lockdown. He's so confident.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 eyes on him. 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see, if Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now, I think that's going a bit far. I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but... please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his ear.
You already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Really?
Yes.
Plating was not something they'd heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool.
So good. He's so, nonchalant.
I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person? Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't Snake's...
I didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident. But the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring.
Let's say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him.
Yeah, you
Why
did.
would I want to kill Snake?
Because you are one of the people who set up the first Nonary game, which Snake took part in. And he probably knows your face. Or he would have thought maybe that he did. Could be.
I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that, or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke.
What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
He handed Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Read it. Santa squinted at the paper and began
The
to read.
Nonary Game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
Then suddenly,
Give me a break!
Ace's face went red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with desperation.
That paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
Junpei's eyes narrowed, and the trap began to close. Yeah. You could have said, you didn't have to say me, you know. Now we both know. Well, we all know that you're Gentaro Hongo. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off Junpei to anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
And we knew that because Santa had told us that he had his own business called Cradle Pharmaceuticals, so he would be the CEO.
Or am I mistaken?
It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this Nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago.
Bullshit.
Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit.
You're bullshit.
Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all,
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself into a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Because you have the number 9 bracelet.
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Here, this part tells you exactly who Ace is. I don't care who it was. In other words, he's quite a selfish person who only thinks about himself.
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
Huh?
What?
What? Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand into his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
Stupid head! You gave yourself away so easily. Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled.
I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3.
1 plus 2 plus 9 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3.
That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace.
Yup.
All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his hand from where he had stopped, halfway to his pocket. Gotcha. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was a corner of Ace's mouth twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead, tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, 7?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
7 cracked his knuckles with a sound with like gunfire. Okay, just a second. Yep, we're going down this lane, okay? Okay. Not quite sure which one that is. Could be safe ending, could be incinerator ending. He is on fun. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Here it is. Crazy guys! Crazy eyes! Crazy eyes! Love it! Love it! Sorry, I'm just enjoying this song right now. Do, do, do. Do, do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, do. Do, do. Do, do. Do, do, do. Sorry. His face is flat and cold, devoid of any emotion.
Well done, Junpei.
Oh, he suddenly sounds a lot like, God, what's his face? Zangetsu from Bleach. Suddenly, very much like him.
As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the Nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root.
1 plus 9 plus 10 is 10. 1, yeah, we know. Yes, okay.
As you with it,
Oh,
one
sorry.
can go anywhere with anyone.
I thought they were gonna list out everything to the number 9. As you can see, number 9 is a very useful number here.
It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments, I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used. I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake.
I mean, you must be very quick because I went to Lotus and then immediately found you, I believe. Oh, and Clover for the second and then Ace. So I was near the first class cabin. And so was Clover. So how did Clover not see Ace?
Well, this guy X, actually.
Well, I
I
guess...
spotted him ahead of me.
Nah, that was when we were searching for Snake, I think.
He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me. The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called Snake. He turned around.
Remember this face.
He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important.
It's impressive that he can fit into those clothes, though. That they're the same size.
I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the Nonary Game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting.
Yeah, of course. He couldn't have recognized it because he was blind. I forgot that he was blind also back 9 years ago.
But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the Nonary Game. But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me. Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed.
Hey, boom. The man inside the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
Ace's eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself?
The number 0 bracelet.
Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Seven and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it.
Huh?
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
I wonder what he refers to, if that's like the first class cabin, or like the captain's cabin. Like, the things that we found was the 0 bracelet, the note, the axe, the body. They didn't talk about the body, by the way. They just talked about Clover running away. Was there no body in there in their playthrough? Like, I think that's something you'd mention, you know? Like, there was a dead body of a guy that we don't know.
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Uh-huh. What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed her at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
At least she didn't say bitch. He was faster. Oh, poor girl. Poor girl.
That was how I killed Clover.
His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Hey, Seven said bitch, though. Seven's whole body trembled with rage and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed.
I admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero. Not you. I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool. And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero.
I mean, partly.
The man I killed in the shower room? If he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes. And that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me.
Maybe Soap World Beta?
And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake.
Suddenly Junpei remembered the paper he'd found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them. For the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. Zero. And he remembered other words he'd heard from Clover.
I think Zero is one of us.
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace. Santa. June. 7. Lotus.
Zero is one of us?
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait. There's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake. That means he's almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero. Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead. Where's Snake now?
He would never do that because Clover... He would have probably looped Clover and, like, make sure that Clover knew that. So she wouldn't be, like, too crazy. But then maybe that would also be inauthentic. Maybe she couldn't act as well. But, like, I don't think he would have done that. He seems like a very considerate guy that doesn't hold too many grudges.
What if he's off somewhere laughing at us?
I don't think so. I really don't.
If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
You know, this is not the time to think about that.
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
We're in the second part. We're almost at the end there. He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch?
No, god damn it, Ace. Literally. Why? Why do you have to call her a bitch?
She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong? You bastard!
Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. But someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped towards Ace and raised the fist on her own. Oh, and drove it straight into his nose. Yes, girl! Give him shit!
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
Ew. He sniffled and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Huh?
Lotus scarcely had time to blink. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. It was a gun. So much for letting Zero control you, Ace, that you said in the cargo room. I have no intention of having Zero control me. And yet he took it anyway. How did we not see that? The revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus's head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger.
I don't know if Lotus would cry here. I think she'd just be really shocked. But then, she could cry, I guess.
I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What do you mean?
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me. Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie.
No, it's not a white lie if you got someone killed. That's a lie. That's just a plain lie.
It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then. Goodbye! Why is it stopping? God damn it! You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here! Oh my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me! It was him! Ah!
Boom.
I had 4 reasons for killing him.
I'm sorry, like, before I continue, did Lotus always have, like, blue stripes in her hair, or is that just light falling? Because I feel like it's very, very, you know, aggressive if it's just light. Feels like she has, like, you know, stripes in her hair. Blue stripes. 1.
As I said before, in the Nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on.
2.
I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. That's the second reason.
3.
Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information.
4.
Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this Nonary game was serious or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
Junpei glared at him.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The Nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
I know. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook.
Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at
On the other
Ace.
side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed, I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
Ace laughed a short, derisive snort and gave Junpei a sickening, pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus.
1 + 8 + 9. 18. 1 + 8 is 9.
Wasn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. And please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
As he spoke, Ace began backing towards the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
Shit! He's getting away! But we can't risk it.
Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. I'm absolutely sure he would. Ace had reached the
Now,
exit.
Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
He forced Lotus to open it, then turned and addressed them once more.
Goodbye.
Then he stepped through the door. It fell shut. It fell in the blink of an eye, they were gone.
Damn it!
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob... Oh, god damn it, June! There was noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. This time, it's Santa. She's in the exact same position, but it's now Santa. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright?
Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
June's fever had returned again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow
I'm okay.
grasps.
Really?
Jesus,
Fine.
can't read.
You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now, as if she could barely summon the strength to talk.
But...
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away. Lotus's life was in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
Damn it. You guys go on ahead. Soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
Junpei looked at June. Nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set.
All right. Come on, Seven. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Got it.
Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind and started running towards the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind
Let's
him.
go!
Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding on the metal door as they ran. Metal floor. Not metal door? Metal floor as they ran. Junpei and Seven had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
Where are they?
Probably already in a 9 door.
I don't see them.
You think they already went through?
He reached up to wipe a palmful of sweat from his brow.
Maybe.
Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger of the number 9 doors.
Let's check the red.
This room was vacant. This display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed to the smaller door. This read would tell him if Ace and Lotus had moved through another room, to the other room.
Engaged. It's occupied.
That means Ace and Lotus went through here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to walk.
What do we do now?
Well, 7 and 5 is 12. So we can't really do much.
Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door is still vacant, but...
The two of us can't do anything with it.
No.
Yeah, not even counting how our digital route isn't 9.
Just then, as they were pondering what to do next. Hey, what's happening again? Now we get some fun action. We can finally maybe open it because we got a code, right? There was a noise like something hitting a thick wooden panel.
What's that sound?
Junpei looked up, surprised. Even Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound.
It's coming from over there.
It wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
How?
By force!
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
I forget. Anyway, we've got to try.
Junpei and Seven leaped at the coffin. They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled.
Damn it!
See? Didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that?
Seven pointed at the keypad on the side of the coffin.
Right. So unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open.
The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it had only gotten louder and more forceful. What were they supposed to do, Junpei wondered.
Was there some sort of clue somewhere?
This is where the coffin ending normally stops. They stood there for a few moments, staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke.
Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin.
Yes.
You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. What about it?
Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing, too.
Come on, that's impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock that safe.
Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them.
That's ridiculous.
Why don't you just try it? I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse.
It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way they're the same number.
How do you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
You.
Fine.
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he repeated them so many times, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1438.
Thank God I don't have to do it.
3421.
Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers and took a deep breath and pressed the E button. It only took a moment.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
There was a click. With a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside. Oh, well, hello. Well, hello. Well, we knew he wasn't dead. We just didn't know where he was. Now he's wearing cultish attire.
You? Why?
Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere?
Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. He was stuck in a coffin, so Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There was a great deal he needed to know, but they had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in a coffin. Apparently, he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
I see. I believe I got the gist of everything. Have I been sufficiently caught up?
No, there was one thing they kept from him. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's much older than her, so he probably feels very responsible for her. For her safety and well-being. They decided as much by a look the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin.
That still doesn't explain why you were trapped in here.
We've still got no clue about Zero's true identity, let alone why the hell he's doing all this. Why did he put Guy X in Snake's clothes? Is all this stuff somehow related to that Nonary game that was played 9 years ago?
Hey, Snake, do you know anything?
Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating.
What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying.
It seemed as though Snake was perhaps not being entirely honest, but that knowledge did Junpei and Seven
Oh, come
little
on,
good.
just tell us if you know.
I don't know what to tell you. How can I know something I don't?
No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second wasted.
This is bad. We're running out of time.
We need to go after Ace.
However, you still have to go through the number 9 door. 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 2 is 14. That would still only make a 5. They stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei and Seven and Snake simply stood at a loss for what they should do next.
What do we do now?
He glanced over Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the 2 on the bracelet on Snake's wrist.
The three of us can't make a digital root of 9.
Yeah, we just get 5.
We're stuck here then.
Oh. Hey, I just remembered something.
Seven began patting his pockets, as if he were checking to see if any of them held something.
What?
What is it?
I found something earlier.
What did you find?
This.
He'd finally found the pocket he wanted, and his hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. A bracelet. There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face of the cartoon eye. Of a cartoon eye.
0.
Oh, yeah, it does look kind of like an eye. True.
Zero's bracelet.
What did you say? Are you saying that 7 has the number 0 bracelet?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he had been able to see, he would have noticed. Seven looked away.
Clover gave it to me.
She did?
Yeah.
How did she come by it?
Well, she found it. See, on the other side of door 1, A deck, in the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around.
He's lying.
Yeah. But how are you gonna say, yes, we found it in Clover's pockets when she was dead on the bathroom floor? Junpei could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the truth.
He even told us earlier.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
He probably said that so Snake doesn't find out about Clover.
Yeah.
All right, Junpei. Been nice knowing you.
He's gone. He's gone. No. He's. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever.
Wait, what?
9 plus 2 is 0 is 9.
Come on, man. I'm just kidding. Still, just in case, I want to make sure the 0 bracelet gets picked up by the red. Snake, give me a hand, all right?
And then they just run through it. They're like, bye, Junpei! Without waiting for a response, he started walking towards the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner panel as well. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. 7 plus 2 plus 0 is 9. Now they just needed to pull the lever and the door would open.
Huh? Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so it must have registered the 0 bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0.
Huh?
What?
That bracelet may not actually produce the number 0 when scanned. That is what I'm saying. Why don't we try a few different combinations? Perhaps we can determine what number that bracelet actually contains.
Oh, got it!
Junpei nodded. They decided to use the following combination. Let's just go for all of them.
Let's try all 3 of us and the bracelet.
2 plus 5 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5.
If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 4.
Nope.
It didn't open.
Then this bracelet is not 4.
Then...
Junpei continued. How about Snake,
let's
Junpei?
try Snake, me, and the bracelet.
Because we already tried Snake 7 and the bracelet.
If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 2.
I don't think that's gonna be it. Nope. The door didn't open. The mysterious place wasn't 2.
Didn't open.
Guess it's not 2.
Then...
Junpei continued. The only other one, Junpei 7 and the bracelet.
Let's try me,
Snake.
7, and the bracelet.
So that way 7 and 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3.
If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 6.
That would be June's number then. They scanned their bracelets.
It opened.
Yes, so it would seem.
7 clearly hadn't thought their experiment would produce anything useful, and looked rather confused. Snake was, as usual, calm and smug. Snake's always calm and smug. The door slit closed. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he thought.
That means the bracelet is actually 6.
5 plus 7 plus 6, 18, and 1 plus 8 is 9.
But how is that possible? The display on the bracelet clearly shows a 0.
Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard the creak and the groan of tearing metal. With it came a sound of water pouring into parts of the ship that had, until recently, been dry.
Oh man, that's not good. I guess our time's just about up, huh?
At any rate, we know now that the door can be opened. Let's go!
But, Snake, are you sure?
Yeah. You know that only Junpei and I can go through this way.
You needn't worry. I have a solution to this problem.
He has a prosthetic left arm and the bracelet is around his left arm.
My last
That's what he's
resort.
gonna say.
But if now is not the time for last resorts, then when?
Last?
Resort?
Okay. Junpei, Seven, and Snake ran full tilt down a long, straight hallway. They were headed for the stern of the ship and had no time for distractions. As they ran, Seven spoke.
Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. I couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat?
As I told you, it was a last resort. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion. I imagine that most people would have taken it to mean that I was Zero. Once they'd convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest, as it were. That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeve. I'd just take my bracelet off.
Yep. Snake's plan had been simple but effective. He'd simply removed his bracelet. How? To Junpei, it had looked as though Snake had simply crushed the bones of his hand until they were small enough to fit through the wristband. Of course, that would have been practically impossible, so how had he done it?
My brother's left arm is...
It's prosthetic.
It's fake.
We know. It's prosthetic. Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin.
I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm glad that's a fake arm.
Don't have to be afraid of the door if you don't got a bracelet.
You are correct.
He'd walked through the door easily without authenticating. He stepped out of the other side unscathed and began running down the hallway along Seven and Junpei. They kept running for a while longer and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downward to the right side of the hallway. As they stopped and peered down the staircase.
I think these stairs connect to the bottom deck.
Doesn't look like it's underwater.
They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It took only a few minutes to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, at the end of which was a single door.
Let's go through that door.
Junpei threw it open. Inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. It read Incinerator.
Incinerator?
Oh my. That doesn't sound very pleasant. Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps?
Yeah, right over here.
How did you know that?
Well, I'd be happy to regale you with the story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so.
I know what he's talking about, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you, so... Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever.
If you
Jerk down
pull
to the
it,
lever.
the door ought to open.
Got it.
He pulled the lever down. With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. Standing in front of them were Ace and Lotus. Ace still had the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. A small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. But even from several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified. But perhaps more interesting was that Junpei saw what Junpei saw behind them. Sorry. 9. Another number 9 door.
What? Why? Why is there another one?
The door stopped Junpei in his tracks and simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought.
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Oh my, how exciting. You've run quite a show here, Zero.
A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face.
What's the matter? Too
Ace's
frightened
face.
to understand?
Ace's face.
Here, let me explain.
It's said that the incineration system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame.
Who are you?
You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake.
Snake? Oh, yes. You are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. I'm quite glad to see that you're alive.
Ace's voice didn't change. I don't think he's very happy to see him. Snake ground his teeth.
If you don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei, 7. The 3 of you couldn't have opened a door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps?
Oh shit. Here we go.
What?
2 + 5 + 7 + 4 would 18 would be 9,
well.
yeah.
Your reaction suggests that you did not.
Hold on. Why did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet?
Junpei felt his chest tighten.
Oh, they haven't told you?
Told me what?
Clearly not. Normally I would take some time and enjoy the moment. But I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now. I'll have to make this quick. Clover.
Don't do it, Ace! Keep your goddamn mouth shut!
Clover.
I said stop it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Junpei could feel his voice going hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to
What
him.
happened to Clover?
Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into the hook of a cruel smile.
Clover died.
The color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly.
No. That's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie. It has to be a lie.
Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see.
God, Snake's voice actor is so good. Like, when he said that it's a lie, it has to be a lie, I immediately felt so sad.
What?
That's the first time we ever see his eyes.
I'm sorry, did I stutter? I killed her.
Shake. Oh. Do not mess with Snake. Snake's face twisted into a mask of rage, mottled red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked at Junpei disturbingly like a demon. I'm so sorry I messed this up, guys.
I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain, perhaps, would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the 9th man had, you remember.
The one Clover was threatened with?
I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade. I was rather lucky, in fact. My first thrust went right between her ribs. Her flesh was so soft. My knife slid in so easily. There was no resistance. That feeling was... I confess, I feel rather excited. It is a powerful memory.
Ugh, so disgusting.
Someday, perhaps, I hope I can feel it again.
Okay, well, he's becoming a murderer. If he gets out.
In 7 minutes.
I'm going to kill you.
Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible.
What was that?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Ah, so you're going to kill me. Please do. Come now.
Don't do it! Don't listen to him, Snake! Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head.
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't! The Snake! Don't do it!
But Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. The hatred. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. A scream echoed through the incineration. Oh my god, please, brain. My god, stop. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake! Snake!
Oh, but 3 times ... this time. Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room towards Junpei, her eyes wide with terror.
Lotus! Hurry! This way!
Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Ace's grip on her, and she'd made a run for it. Oh, I love that you can hear her jewelry when she runs. Never noticed that before. She reached 7 and Junpei and ducked behind them.
Incineration will begin in...
Wait, sorry. Just attack. She was, and you saw Ace's face instead of Lotus? What? What the fuck? That was weird.
5 minutes.
Give me the woman.
He raised the
I
gun.
need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door. Quickly now.
know.
I don't have time for your shenanigans.
In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. He looked like a human larva, prone and vulnerable on the floor.
I see. Then it would seem I have no choice. The rest of you must die as well. Fortunately, I have 5 bullets left. 1 for Junpei, another for Lotus, and the last 3 for that lump of idiotic man you call 7. I will take Lotus's body with me and leave this room.
Why do you need to take her body with you? You could just get her bracelet. What are you gonna do with her body, creep?
Incineration will begin in 4 minutes.
Well, it looks as though our time together is at an end. I rather enjoyed playing with you.
Damn it!
Junpei could see Ace's finger tighten. He could see it begin to squeeze down on the trigger. His body tensed, preparing for a catastrophic impact of hot lead against human flesh.
Goodbye.
Then it happened.
Kill you!
Back from the dead, Jesus. Snake stood up.
What? No, that's impossible.
For the first time, Ace's composure broke. With obvious effort, Snake lunged forward, 1 step closer to Ace, then another. He looked for all the world like a zombie.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
His voice was the mournful wailing of the undead.
Stay away from me! Get back! Stop! If you come any closer, I'll... Get away from me!
Little by little, Ace was retreating. Snake did not stop. He continued his stiff and inexorable approach, his eyes twin pools of pure fury.
Listen to me! I said, don't come any closer!
God, he must love Clover so much.
Shit! You bastard!
I think 5 times. So he emptied his revolver here. 5 times, Ace's revolver leaped 5 times. 5 times the air in the incinerator was split by the crack of a bullet. Snake's body twitched as 5 clouds of blood and torn flesh leaped into the air across his body. A fine pink mist drifted from his body and disappeared. Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. And then his strength was gone. His legs crumbled, and his broken and battered body slid to the floor.
Incineration will begin in 3 minutes.
Finally, you're...
But Snake wasn't done.
I'll kill you.
Even as the pool of blood beneath him grew, he began to move. He half crawled, half slid towards Ace. The one bloody arm wrapped itself around Ace's leg.
You won't get away.
And the other gripped his thigh with a strength that should have long been gone.
You son of a bitch! You're a monster! Get off me! Let me go, damn you!
He kicked at Snake with his free leg, diving his foot into Snake's face, his arm, his shoulder. It made no difference. Snake refused to release him. Once a snake has ensnared its prey, rarely does it release it.
This is it, Ace. We're going to burn to death together.
What?
Ace and Snake, number 1 and number 2. Cards and dice.
Incineration will begin in 2 minutes.
Yeah, damn it! Damn you! Get off! Let me go, you monster! Okay, look. Think about it this way. My company owns a wonderful hospital. It has excellent doctors. You're not wounded too seriously. I'm sure they can fix you up easily.
Yeah, no, that's never gonna happen.
You don't have to die. You could be saved. Just let me go.
I don't think Snake wants to carry on without Clover.
Pathetic. Begging for your life.
Then Seven and Lotus began to speak. Junpei could hear tears in their voices, and their words restrained.
Snake, that's enough! You can stop now!
Yes! He's right, Snake! You've done enough!
Come on, Snake, let's go! Let's get out of here!
It's so crazy to see those two on the same page.
You have to come with us! We have to leave together!
Snake turned toward them. He coughed and blood splattered across the floor. Then he smiled a sad sort of smile.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't do that. You'd best forget about me. You need to leave soon. I'm going to take him with me.
Shut up! Be quiet!
I couldn't save Clover. My sister died because of me. Perhaps this will begin to atone for that. Perhaps in the afterlife, she can forgive me. Now go. Go now. You have to go.
Incineration will begin in 1 minute.
God damn it! Shit! We're out of time! We gotta go!
Seven ran to the exit. Lotus followed him, but Junpei couldn't move. There were white lines down Snake's cheeks where his tears had washed the blood away. He was broken, body and soul, and Junpei felt as though half of his own heart had been torn out. His eyes stung, and he tried desperately to swallow to clear the lump in his throat. Man, Junpei is such an empathic person. Like, he's not an empath, but he's like such an empathetic person. Like, he can really feel with the people who go through something.
Junpei, what are you doing? You have to get out of here now!
Junpei's chest tightened, pulled taut by anger, misery, and a cold feeling of emptiness. Pure emotion surged through his heart alongside the torrent of blood. He could feel it building, a tremendous wave growing taller and taller and taller. And then it broke, crashing down with thunderous force onto his shaken, unprepared mind.
Snake! Snake!
Junpei's rational mind was gone. He was driven by instinct now. He launched himself across the floor at Snake and Ace. Or he tried to.
Wait! Don't be an idiot, Junpei!
Thank God Seven is here. He felt a hand grab him from behind. It was Seven. Before he had time to react, the larger man had pinned Junpei's arms to his sides and was hauling him bodily back towards the door.
No! No! I have to help Snake! 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 Get off of me! Let me go!
Incineration will begin in 10 seconds. 7, 6.
Damn it, I don't get a choice, kid! Don't blame me for this, alright?
Good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, at least we're safe.
Gates 2 and 3 are locked down. Beginning incineration.
Junpei felt Seven's fist buried deep inside his stomach, and then his legs turned to mush. Seven scooped him up in the same motion and leapt through the door. It slammed shut behind them. Junpei struggled to shaky feet. He glanced over to see Lotus only a short distance away. Junpei ran to the door.
He's...
There was a small window cut into it. Inside he could see Ace and Snake.
Shit!
Where's Snake? I only see Ace.
Damn you all! Why? Why? Why me? I don't deserve this!
You deserve it, man.
SME 0! Why?
A life for a life, I guess.
Why?
And remember that they said that in the first Nonary game, a girl died as well. So he killed 2 girls. And another guy. So he killed 3 people.
0! 0!
Bye!
0!
Sorry, this is quite a long episode. He didn't know how much time passed. He didn't know how long he stood there in front of the incinerator. He looked to the side. Lotus's face was ashen, and if not for the hand she'd put against the wall, Junpei didn't think she'd have stood. Seven looked old and tired and used. His eyes stared at the floor, seeing nothing. Junpei said nothing. He simply began to walk towards the open door and the hallway he'd come down earlier.
Hey, wait! Junpei!
Junpei, where are you going?
He blinked when their voices broke the silence. He stopped.
You stay here. I'll go get Santa and June.
You're gonna bring them here?
How?
Don't worry about that. Just stay here and wait. All right.
He began to walk again. He looked over his shoulder and watched Seven and Lotus grow smaller and smaller. They stared back, not moving. He wasn't sure if they could. He turned around again, and he knew where he was going.
I saw an elevator on the way here. If I can get it to work, then maybe...
Before long, Junpei found himself in front of the elevator. Next to the door was a button with a triangle on it.
Please work.
He pushed it, and the door opened.
Yes.
Junpei was in the large hospital room.
June! Santa!
He kept calling and walked to the center of the room. But try as he might, he couldn't find them.
Damn it. Where did they go?
Increasingly frustrated and increasingly worried, Junpei left the large hospital room. He had no choice. He would have to look for them. Junpei's heart was heavy. He couldn't shake the feeling, but there was a part of him that felt it would be wrong to, even if he could. With every step he took, his legs felt more and more like lead. Sometime later, Junpei found himself at the chapel. He stepped inside expecting to find nothing. But there, on the red carpet in the center of the room, June. June! Sorry. Sorry, there was an exclamation mark there. No, codenames didn't matter any longer. She was Connie.
Connie!
Junpei cried her name and ran. Like lightning, he ran across the room toward her.
Connie!
He stumbled to a stop. As he looked down at her body, lying so still on the floor, he felt the icy grip of fear upon his heart. It was still, so very still.
No. It can't be. It's impossible.
Slowly, Junpei bent down toward her. His hands shook, and he felt very cold and very hot at the same time. He forced himself to look. Her back was moving. Slowly, it rose and fell. Relief washed over him.
Oh, Connie!
Junpei reached down and gently, very gently, lifted her up.
Connie! Connie, are you alright?
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. She was cold, very cold. Junpei tried to convince himself that it was only his imagination, but she felt as though she was fading away, but he felt as though she was fading away. He could feel his heart pounding frantically in his chest.
Oh man. Connie, what the hell happened to you? You feel...
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was very faint.
I might not make it.
No way. I am going to let you die.
Thank you, Jumpy.
Sorry, spastic finger. Damn it.
Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really happy.
Oh, don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, alright, Connie?
Jumpy, did you know? You meant a lot to me when we were kids. I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
He said his real name, not a code name, not a nickname. Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame. He looked down at Akane. Oopsie. Hey, Daft Punk! You back? There was a crack of static up from above his head, and a voice spoke.
Zero. You son of a bitch! Where are you hiding?
Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice. Hmm?
What the hell are you talking about? No. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Kane. Why?
Because you chose the wrong path.
The wrong path?
That is correct. Your path is invariable, however. Admit defeat. Where there is shadow, there is light. Where there is the absence of light, there is no shadow. So it goes.
What are you talking about?
I is not. The loser has been decided.
I told you! I am not gonna lose!
No, you misunderstand. You have lost. I have lost.
Interesting, right? What does he mean by that?
What?
Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. Sorry. He heard the door slam shut behind him. He spun around. There was no one there. Was it Zero?
Connie, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise.
She managed a single nod. Junpei laid her back down gently and leaped for the door. He yanked it open and shot outside. No one. The hall was empty. There was nothing moving anywhere.
Damn it. Where are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get Kane out first.
Didn't want to leave Connie alone any longer than he had to, so Junpei turned around and headed back to the chapel.
Connie!
He wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. He'd been lying there on the floor just moments before. And now she was gone.
Oh God. No. No. Where is she? Connie. Connie! Connie! Connie!
His cries split the heavens themselves. He screamed until his voice gave out. Then he screamed some more. But there was nothing. No answer. His voice faded away, and all that remained was cold and feeling silence. That was when he noticed it.
Huh?
A strange smell, one he'd smelled before.
Wait. This is...
Oh,
white smoke.
"9 seconds later, 9 seconds again, Junpei's mind winked out. 9 seconds again, guys. Ah, jeez. This is a very long ending. This is a ending, not a true ending. This is the safe ending. Jeez. I know, this was a longer episode. It's almost like like an hour and a half. That was not the intention. But like, I felt weird cutting up the ending here, so... But yeah, I'm just gonna cut this out, and the next time we are going to go through another path to see another ending. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this ending a lot. I love how like incredible Snake is, like how much he loves Clover, and he's just like, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna keep you here till I'm sure that I killed you. So that was really cool. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day too, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!